We're back, Kyle.
Oh, are we live?
I think
I
it's
don't see.
live.
I don't see
Yeah,
a
we're
camera
live.
on. We are?
Yeah, it's red over here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, 3, 2, 1.
Nope, I'm not seeing anything.
Well, we're live. Hi, YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
Hi,
Did they
everybody.
catch the first part of it, or were we never
I
live
don't
in the
think
first place?
we weren't live before, but now we're live now. Yeah.
Take it from the
Okay.
top.
All right. Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the VR Download, a weekly show recorded live from the Upload Virtual Studios, where we bring you the latest news, reviews, comments, and interviews from the VR industry. My name is Kyle, Operations Manager at Upload. To my left here,
Ian Hamilton, managing editor. Welcome to our new studio.
yes, and over here across from me,
It's Harry. How's everyone going? Coming at you from Australia. Upload VR news writer.
woohoo! All right. So, as you may notice, the studio has gone through a small upgrade. And as we go through these upgrades, we're going to add new fun features and things, and maybe who knows what'll happen down the road. But some of this stuff is still in beta. So, bear with us as we survive these growing pains
Is
together.
there something earlier than an alpha pre-release?
No.
No.
Well,
No.
Alpha's
well,
kind
You
of
can say
like
it's an alpha. It's an alpha. Or it's a beta.
it's an alpha.
Alpha,
We'll call it an
beta,
alpha. Okay.
and then cupcake. Yeah. So, you know. So,
I just want to
yeah,
say,
yeah. Go ahead, Harry.
say hello to everyone in the comments. I've got the comments over here. We've got Fred Smith, Maze F, Dark Origins, Ben Stanley. Everyone's saying hello. Hi, guys. Nice to have you all here. Ryan, thanks for all being here. Just want to shout out.
Some of us are still a little amazed at some of the features that we have here, things that you can't see. Maybe we'll give you a tour someday. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun having some new features capable. I mean, are we going to be able to show pictures?
Not yet, but I mean, maybe
videos
you
Look
could
at that.
surprise us. But
maybe a
Look at that flat
PowerPoint
screen.
done completely in Comic Sans. I'm looking forward
the thing
to
is,
it.
normally we have Heaney God in our ear,
Yeah.
but I can only hear him, so they can't hear him. So God speaks through me, and they all, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So, yeah.
I love
He said
it.
something, but I can't tell what he said because he broke his mic today. Of all the beta things to deal with, yeah.
So beta. Hey, you know what? We should probably just jump into the news then and see what's going on. All right, great. Well, let's do it. First piece of news this week is that the Oculus Quest has started to come back in stock. Sort of. You can get it every once in a while if you can catch it while it's available. I personally saw that the 64 has come and gone, and the 128 gigabyte seems to be a little bit more available. I'm not really sure.
Yeah.
But Mark Zuckerberg has been quoted as saying that the Quest has surpassed our expectations. Ian, what were the expectations?
Sell more than 0 is, I think, more or less their goal, right?
Yeah. Well, that's...
No, I mean they won't give us the sales numbers, and that's always the problem. Is we want to know how big the market is, but we get those indications sort of by just seeing how well the developers are doing, and we keep hearing from developers again and again and again that it seems like Quest is the highest selling platform for them. Even in some cases, when you combine all the other platforms, there was the 11 developers have quite the pace of their Quest release. They had something like 24,000 copies sold in something like a month. I want to say maybe it was a little bit more than a month. But they're on a good chunk of their they had more than 50,000 on Steam, and they made that in like a month, and that was 4 years to get to those numbers on Steam. So
that's what I was going to say.
11 is doing really well.
4 years. That's nuts. Yeah, that's crazy fast. Far out.
You know, I wonder. They're pushing that the Quest has surpassed our expectations. I have two questions actually. Number one is, were there expectations for the Rift S? And if so, has that also surpassed?
Someone actually in the comments just said, Ryan just said, I wonder what they have to say about the Rift S.
Well, there you go.
So,
see,
good question, Ryan.
Well, so I think it's when the Rift S came out, there was like a lot of argument about whether they've just abandoned PC VR, and I don't think a year later that they've abandoned it. They've obviously they brought the Quest online for PCVR. But I think what the story there a year later that we're learning is that there's something more important to them than PCVR, and they want to make Quest sort of the best of all worlds, right? So it's going to be a standalone headset first and foremost, but you can also connect it to a PC, and that's a big deal clearly to Facebook. And I think it sort of paints the picture of that Del Mar headset that we found in the code, that
Ooh,
they're
yeah.
going to want to take this system to the next level with Del Mar, and hopefully they can get it to the frame rate of the original Rift. If not the original Rift, maybe they can get it up to 80. But I'd love to see it at 90. I'd love to see the better balance and all those haptics improvements, better tracking, all those things that they could do. But I think it's like the time is ripe for them to take the standalone and take it to the next level with also being PCVR.
I find it intriguing that the Quest came out, and I wonder if they had intended on connecting it for PCVR, because obviously the Rift S and the Quest, they both kind of showed up on the market close to each other, not to compete with each other, but to be supplemental. I don't know. But now the Quest has all of these things. So I wonder if, hey, look, we can do hand tracking. Oh, look, we can do sort of AR stuff and see our room. And oh, look, we can connect it to the TV. What are the next things that are going to happen that they didn't know the Quest was capable of doing? It almost feels like an unevolved
It's
expectations. They're saying it surpassed expectations, but maybe I don't know.
Well, so Heaney and so a developer out there, is he watching, Gerald?
yeah, he's watching
Hi,
it.
Gerald.
Gerald's here.
Yeah, thank you for finding that code out there in the Jedi code. That was pretty cool. And one of the key things when we were looking through that code is the possibility that next generation uh, Quest, that maybe Del Mar, could have higher rate cameras that are actually sampling the room at double the rate as the current cameras. Now it's a big guess. We don't know that they're going to do that, but hand tracking was added in December to the current Quest, and it's still a little shaky. It's not quite right there. But if they can really lock in hand tracking on Del Mar and use that extra sampling to see your hands at a higher rate, boy, that would be amazing. That would really take, if you could really have hand input as robust or nearly as robust as the controller tracking. That's gonna be a even larger market than current Quest, I would think, even if it's a much higher priced headset.
Absolutely.
Gerald's actually in the comments. He said that he suspects Quest is just beating their expectations drastically compared to the Rift S. And then we've got some other comments. Reckoner said, I doubt they originally intended it, but it was difficult for them to avoid admitting it was possible. And Mazev said, I got the Quest so I could be using it for PCVR, but also play when I'm on the go. I think that's the beauty. And one thing I was going to say before that I was thinking about is it's really quite incredible when you take like the last, what has it been, under 6 months, and think of the things that they've added to Quest. Like, it's really a list that's starting to add up now. I mean, when I got my Quest just about a year ago, a bit more than a year ago, a bit less than a year ago, I mean, I didn't expect it to be able to do anything like Link. At least it wasn't like on my radar as I'm buying it with the possibility this could happen. And now it's got Link. I'm here using Link. It's got hand tracking. It's got the AR view with, Oculus Home, and you can have multiple browser windows, and kind of it's got all this stuff that keeps adding up. They've added in the last 6 months. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, we'll come back and talk about the Del Mar stuff later when we get to another piece of the news. But Harry, it's intriguing that that you're using the Link. Are you using the hand tracking right now?
No, we can't use it in this yet because you can't.
Oh, okay. I was going to say I didn't think that
certain
we
things.
had.
If only, but
Yeah.
no, I haven't got.
Yeah.
Can't use hand
But
tracking.
we have this interesting piece of equipment that has the ability to evolve, almost like grow. It's very odd. It kind of reminds me of the living ships in No Man's Sky.
Well,
Yeah,
Well,
I
I
don't know.
wonder.
It's just weird.
I wonder how ancient it's going to feel in a year, right? If they really do
Yeah.
upgrade another headset and get it out there, and it's got the robust hand tracking, um, from the outset, I wonder how ancient this thing is going to feel, even though it
Well,
has, it has grown and done so much more.
when was the last time you put on a DK1 or a DK2?
Yeah, it's never. I mean, it's been years. I mean, it's been 5 years. Yeah.
I stumbled across mine when I was cleaning out a closet because I got nothing better to do. I looked, I was like, oh, I wonder what this would feel. It felt cheap on my head. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, at the time it was so revolutionary, but the DK1 was it just feels like a toy now. I don't know. Harry, did you have something else to say?
I was just going to say too, Gerald also said something he's been thinking about. What do you think Gen 2 of Quest looks like? Like a proper Gen
Yeah.
2, not a Quest Pro. We've got a lot of other
See, I
Quest
hate those
users in the
terms because
comments.
people get sort of, if Facebook does it this year, it's going to be one thing. If Facebook does it next year, it's another thing. And that starts, do we call it Quest Pro or Quest 2 be based on how big of a generational leap it is? I really think, and I thought this for a long time, that like thinking that they're going to take their time to upgrade these things, especially when they're zeroing in on what people want, seems like a mistake, right? They're going to
Yeah.
want to hit the gas pedal and do more, better, faster, give us options. If they can't make these things fast enough, give us a 256 gigabyte option so that, people can still buy the darn thing if you have another rush of sales instead of having to buy it from a scalper that's up, $100 more on a Quest is still going to be cheaper than the scalper that's charging $300 more
Yeah,
on Amazon.
that's true.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The whole Pro versus 2 versus Quest the sequel. Who knows? The idea of Pro means professional. To me, that Pro is professional. So, what does a professional Quest user look like? I'm
A
curious.
USB 3 cable. I'd like a USB 3 cable in the
Yeah,
box. That would be
There
included
nice.
you
in the
go.
box.
A
That's
link
probably
cable.
and a copy
And
of
Of course, if they get the wireless
Asgard's Wrath.
dongle, maybe not. I mean, if they get the wireless dongle, yeah.
So
Yeah.
what does the perfect Quest successor look like? So higher resolution cameras with higher refresh rate for more AR capabilities, for better hand tracking. Do we care about resolution on the screen? Maybe. Do we care about do we want new lenses? Do we necessarily have to have eye tracking with foveated rendering?
I would
Do
think a
we?
big one would be to redistribute the weight, or not redistribute it, but figure out some way like others have so that it's more comfortable for more
Oh,
people.
just
And
using your Halo strap would make more sense.
Well, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm using the VR Power right now. I've been using it for the last several weeks whenever we come on this show, and I'm using the Quest because the microphone is better. So like, I'm already sort of modifying the current Quest for the better balance, and I think there's gonna be a lot of people before the end of the year that they've already built Franken Quests, but like the writing is on the wall. They really need to fix the balance issue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you'd have to be
I think
looking
that's
into that if they
definitely a
were.
big part.
There's no way they wouldn't be trying to figure something out in that way. I mean, there's enough evidence out there to know that it's an issue for enough people.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll be honest. I don't use the Quest with the Link because I have a Rift S. I mean, obviously, not everybody has that option, but I do. So I can choose to because the Rift S fits nicer over my glasses. It feels better on my head. Its weight is distributed correctly. And so, yeah, I very rarely connect my Quest to Link.
Rift S sits in a box. I go back and forth between the Index and Quest.
Well, you've got an Index. I don't have an Index.
I know.
Yet. Harry, what do we got over there?
Just some comments. I saw Joe before said one thing that he want would be if it to be lighter. And Fred Smith said better sound. Gerald said eye tracking with foveated rendering would be a perfect boost because games like Beta and Mortal wouldn't have those pixelated areas. So it'd be nothing but a performance boost for those. However, the hardware cost of eye tracking could be the downside for that. Dark Origin said, is VR Power worth it? We've got a whole review up on the site. Check that out. That'll kind of go through all the pros and cons. We're pretty big fans of it. I haven't got one yet, but I'm feeling like it might
Everybody
be a
I know
good.
who has one loves it. How about that?
I know exactly. Yeah, that's pretty much the best reveal. And what else? Reckoner said I'd be amazed if a new Quest is released this year or even next year. I'd say 2020 is the earliest, just because they won't want to set a precedent for that kind of cycle.
The
Interesting.
cycle. Remember they said that it was going to be slower than a cell phone cycle, but not as fast as a game.
But I think
can't
that's
remember the
old.
exact
Not
That's
as
old,
words.
slow
like
as a
Rift.
game. Yeah.
That's like
Yeah.
Rift generation. That's like, I think that's old. I think that's probably
So
not.
that only counted for one cycle.
Yeah, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that probably counted for when they were talking about PCs and thought the PCs were going to be as big as they were, and now they're pretty much proving that standalone. I mean, it's always been on the boards, you know, on their plans that they were going to get to standalone, but they're proving that standalone is here to stay, and really, they continue to be in a market by themselves. So I don't think they take their time. I think
Yeah.
they get it out faster than we all expect.
I feel like it's a matter of cycles be damned. We'll get it out when it's ready. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that, you know?
Yeah.
Just trying to
Yeah.
fit everything into a cycle. It's just, yeah, you have expectations. You release things too early.
Are
There's no
people in the
games
comments
available.
complaining that we're talking about Quest too much? We're sorry. We
Yeah, we'll
talked
switch.
about
No,
Quest a
they're
little
not
bit.
actually. They're not. There's a lot of people talking about the Quest and VR Power and whatnot. Greg's VR is here. Said hi, Greg's. How you going?
For the
No, yeah.
For the people asking about VR Power, I leave it. I have one of those AMVR stands, and then I have the VR Power attached to the back, and so then I've got my cord that came with the Quest plugged into the VR Power, charging it up, and then the VR Power connected to the Quest, and it just sits there on the stand. And so I unplug the cord from the back of the VR Power, put it on, and I'm good to go. Just it's perfect. As far as like a sort of counterbalance and extender for the battery, I have yet to pick up that Quest. I have two Quests, but I've yet to pick up that one and have it out of power because of that. And that was a pretty common occurrence before getting that accessory.
I presume you definitely. I'm almost 90% certain, but you definitely can't pass through link through the VR Power.
It cannot.
There'd be no way.
That was the
No,
one thing
yeah.
we that's definitely included in our review, and it's one of the downsides of the thing is it does not it doesn't even pass side quest data. So you cannot pass data
Yeah,
at
right,
all
okay.
through
Yep. Yep.
through that VR Power.
Oh yeah. No,
Understandable.
I would imagine that would
Yeah.
be a more complex. They'll have
That'd
to
be a
come out
very
with VR Power
complicated-
Pro.
2022.
Sorry. Let's move on to the next piece of news. Let's see here. Looks like Half-Life Alyx was included on Steam's top releases list for March. Big surprise to nobody, at least nobody in the VR community. And modding is already a thing.
Well, it's
Harry?
popping
I'm glad
off.
we got
The
Harry in
mods.
here for this. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool mods. I was playing some yesterday. I'm going to play some more today, and we've got some pieces going up on the weekend about it. There's some really cool. It makes me really excited because it kind of, I mean, Valve haven't released the official tools yet. They said they're going to release a newer version of Hammer, which is like their mapping authoring tool, that will let the kind of community make maps much easier. So that hasn't come out yet, but it is coming, hopefully soon. But even though we haven't got that, there's so many community creations of like little mini campaigns, sandbox maps. There's a whole bunch of different kind of maps that you can play through, and that's been really cool to try out. And kind of reminds me of like the way I see it is it's like now occasionally I still go back and play Portal 2 with friends because there's so many community maps and it's got Steam Workshop integration. You can just be in game, download some maps, play them with a friend. It's like the easiest thing, and they're really high quality. And all I can think about is how, Alyx is going to have this kind of second wave of just community content where you can just put on a headset and it's all integrated in the headset. You can go to Steam Workshop and just download some maps and play through some kind of custom environments and maps. It's really cool. It makes me really excited.
You said a very important phrase, which is you can play with friends in other games.
Well, look, it would be cool. The only reason I said that, well, usually when I play Portal 2, I play the co-op mode. It would be interesting to see if someone could do a co-op Alyx thing. I mean, I imagine someone eventually will, whether that would be an official thing. I mean, there's only so much you can do with Steam Workshop integration and that kind of stuff. But it would be very interesting to see if someone could kind of mod it. I'm sure someone will try for you to kind
See
of run through
that to me would be a huge
that'd be
giant
cool.
mod to be able to play with
Yeah.
somebody else. Ian, you and I can go in there and pew 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 together.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
You know, it'd be cool.
Yeah.
It'd be a cool mod. It would be a 2D mod, but just for a spectator. If you could have like a 2D spectator come in and watch someone else play in Alyx. There was that Hyperdash came out today and has a spectator mode where a person can use a drone and watch a 5v5 match as a drone, and people can like shoot at the drone and wave at the drone, and the drone's all out of VR. And that would be a cool way to experience Half-Life Alyx if you could sort of watch someone else do Alyx.
Yeah.
If you don't have a headset.
Yeah. But
Sorry,
yeah,
I'm still
just so
dwelling
cool
on the
things.
whole multiplayer thing. I just
I think the other thing too is kind of historically Valve games have come out and there's been so many mods that have come for them, and you've got, you know, there was like Gmod back in the day. Pretty sure it wasn't Counter-Strike a Half-Life mod. Like there's so many things that have just started as mods and kind of taken off from there, from Valve games specifically. It's always had this big, strong modding scene. And I think that's really exciting to think about for VR and what, you know, we could be seeing from Alyx for the next couple of years. It's such a strong kind of base and engine for people to work from. So yeah, there's only potential there. I think is the really cool thing.
Now forgive me because I don't know the underlying engine for Half-Life Alyx, but are there other games using that engine?
Source 2
and
okay.
Yeah, it's
So
Source 2 and
so.
Dota 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at the moment, when you go to install, like, because now they've figured out a way to make Hammer work with Alyx, and you basically kind of copy over some Steam VR stuff into the Alyx folder and whatever. But when you launch it, it comes up with the kind of Hammer thing for Dota 2, because that's the only other game I think that uses Source 2, and they're obviously very different implementations entirely. But yeah, so there's Dota 2 and Half-Life Alyx, as far as I know. Someone in the comments can correct me if there's another game that I'm missing that uses Source 2.
Dota 2 is multiplayer.
It is.
So
let's not.
No, it's a single player game.
I love
your
your
15-hour campaign. And
boring game ever. Yeah.
I love your like, well, Dota 2's multiplayer. Maybe we could just take that part and just chuck it in.
Right? Isn't that how it works? Isn't that how mods work?
Press some hammer buttons. Yeah. Upload Steam Workshop, and then it's like we've got co-op Alyx. That'd be it.
Oh
yeah,
man,
if only.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Anything else that we can? I mean, it being on the top releases list for March is like, duh. I mean, do we really even need to say that? The grass is green, the sky is blue. Half-Life Alyx was.
So it's only a handful of VR games have made that list, though. I think Boneworks made the list when it came out.
Maybe
I could be wrong on that, but I think they made the list.
But I think what's like, even though we're kind of like, oh, of course it would make the list, I think we're only saying that because it's kind of a given that it's Alyx and it's Valve's game, right? Like, as you said, it is still impressive that it made the list, but at the same time, it's also it is a given because it's like, yep, it's a Valve game, and it was always going to kind of be there. I'm pretty sure Valve could release almost anything and it would be on the top list for that month, but nonetheless, still cool that it's obviously not many VR games get there.
You know, something I haven't seen anybody talk about in terms of Half-Life Alyx is replay value. You've played the whole thing, I'm assuming, Ian.
Yep. And I played it on a very easy difficulty because I freaked out during the very scary levels, and I had to I could not manage my ammo, so I took it down to a very easy difficulty so I could plow through it and finish it. And yeah, I went back in there on hard, and I've much slower pace. But I did the thing where you can hack the level at the beginning and fill up a bucket full of when Russell throws you the first magazine. Magazine, I think.
Yes.
I think they're going to be in the comments yelling at you. When he throws you the ammo,
or ammo clip, or whatever. Yeah.
When he throws you the ammo, you can shoot a bullet and then kick it out of the gun, and then he throws you another one, and you can just fill up a bucket full of them.
Oh, look
and
at
take
this.
the bucket. So I did that to
Mr.
sort of stock
Hacker
up
Man.
on the ammo to prepare for the scary levels. And
He's carrying the
Yeah,
bucket
then-
with you the
Just
whole
he
way.
is just walking along with a bucket in his hand. You know,
Yeah.
like here's
It's like
my
this
I'm gonna have to
stuff.
go
Super
back,
Combine.
though,
He's
and
like,
get
hey,
the
let me put
gnome.
down my bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
The
gonna have to
other
go back
thing
and
you
get
could
the
do
gnome
is
because I want the gnome thing.
you could
Gnome
put
the gnome
yourself in
achievement, yeah.
in God mode and give yourself all the stuff, and then just plow through it with on hard on difficult. That's kind of fun too.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it's Half-Life Alyx for you. Next piece of news. New AI tool turns any song into a custom Beat Saber map,
Another
and
thing
it
I'm
really
excited about.
works. I feel
Yeah.
like I need to challenge this. Like find some
Okay.
crazy songs.
No, okay,
Harry's
okay. So,
getting death threats from the Beat Saber community over that.
the
Yeah.
Beat Saber community is not happy with me. There's been a lot of they were basically people, and I understand people. Some of the I think mappers feel they don't want kind of easy to generate stuff to clog up the kind of custom community content they've kind of built up over the last few years, which I totally get. And there is, I think, a lot of people are pointing out there are some very big kind of there's some not issues, but there are things with it at the moment that need some working through. But the important thing is the developers are aware. I've talked to them in DMs and whatnot, and they've said there's stuff that they're working on. But basically, it does work. It works really well if you know what to put in, which is always a disclaimer with these auto-generated things. But when you do that, it works way better than any other auto-generated thing I've ever tried. Because I also tried Audio Shield on Quest, which came out. I reviewed that a couple of weeks ago. And that was like, there's a lot of problems with that game, but it's still the kind of generation thing is doesn't feel right. But this, when you get like a song they've basically taught the AI to generate maps based off, they've taught it all the existing Beat Saber songs done by humans. And it's kind of using machine learning and neural networks to then generate maps. So if you get a song that's like a pop song that has similar kind of electronic tones to maybe the Beat Saber maps that are in the game, the official ones, and it's got a strong beat, it generates some really impressive maps that you can play through, and they're really fun. And there's definitely problems. There'll be times where like a down block will be like up here, so you kind of have to go like whoa and kind of really reach your shoulder, or things that block visibility, or kind of things that are just stupid disrupting flow. But the developers have said those are the next things they're kind of gonna fix. And so really, it's this kind of there was a few songs in there. There's some footage on YouTube, and I'm gonna get some more up over the next few days. There's some songs in there that are just really fun to play through, and they pick up on weird nuances that the official Beat Saber maps have that custom mappers often don't, or I don't see that often. I don't know. I was super impressed with it. A lot of people in Beat Saber community have mixed feelings, but I loved it.
I can see why the Beat Saber mod community is happy with you,
Yeah.
Harry. I can see for you to
Well,
compliment this AI. I can just picture all these modders, all
Yeah.
these Beat Saber modders,
Exactly.
like they took our jobs,
I know, it's a bit
and they
like,
have
yeah.
they're like doing free work to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
will
noticed
say
one
this,
complaint was
though.
the bomb placement. Bomb placement
Yeah, I
isn't
think-
great yet.
And the bombs were only just kind of implemented. The same with the no arrow blocks, not like no arrows entirely, but the dot blocks, kind of weird placement at the moment. But I think the thing is that like it's such a good. They've said they're still actively developing the tool. This isn't the final version, and for something that's just come out like a week ago or just over a week ago, it's incredibly good to start. It's a great place to be starting from, and it's one of those things where it can only learn and get better. And yeah. It's impressive.
Can you go in after the AI creates the maps and then tweak them?
Yes, you
Okay.
can. I was just going to say that you can. So, and what's
Good.
interesting too is that there were some people who were then taking the generated maps and re-uploading them to websites as if they'd made them, and pretending like they made them, which was also a problem. But you can now. There's actually a tool on the BeatSage site where you can put in a map, and if it was generated by BeatSage, it will be able to tell. It can kind of recognize itself. So there's like save checks to check that you've done that. But yes, they're saying now that if you go in, if you generate a map, you edit it enough, and it's kind of your work at that point, you're allowed to then re-upload it and say it's
What a
yours.
wonderful world we live in where plagiarism of an AI created game for virtual reality
There's AI
is a problem.
self-checks.
I mean,
This is the world
that's,
we live
it's our
in,
future,
folks.
right?
It's-
Is we're
Yeah.
just going to be tweaking the Photoshop, tweaking
Yeah.
the AI's
It is
recommendations.
pretty crazy. There's a website. It's like, I'll check this if it was done by an AI, and you put in, you're like, oh, that's an AI one. Gotta check my Beat Saber maps for which ones are real and fake. It's what a
Oh.
world.
One thing I want to add to this is I really felt like this whole project almost felt like a I don't know, an invitation for acquisition by Facebook. Like it really looked like a project that they're like, come on, buy us, Facebook, and then take your money and make the music label agreements with all the major music labels, and now you can bring the entire music library of
Yeah.
the world into
'Cause
VR with this type
These
of
guys
tool.
really know what they're doing too, because they've done it before. This isn't the first thing they've done for rhythm games. There's actually a huge paper you can read that's on the Beach Stage site that they did this for Dance Dance Revolution, and so they've got experience in rhythm games and teaching AIs to kind of learn stuff before. This isn't their first AI generated map rodeo. So they know what they're doing, and they're one of them, I believe. I can't remember both of them, or one of them is definitely at Stanford as a researcher and doing stuff there. So yeah, look, I mean, they know what they're doing.
Harry,
This
you're
isn't,
gonna have to hold
that's
on
what I
for a
think is
moment
impressive. This isn't
because
just
I'm
like
writing
someone.
down a
Yes.
note.
Yeah.
AR map rodeo.
There we
Game
go. Yeah.
idea. Okay.
AI map rodeo, correct. But yeah, they know what they've done this before. It's kind of like this Beat Sage thing isn't their first, generated stuff. So it's really interesting. I think it's another cool modding thing that's been happening lately. I'll check the comments. What are we seeing? Oh, we've got Reckon that says that one day we'll have AI that can generate weekly VR podcasts on YouTube, and we won't need us anymore.
Yeah, they're going to train it on our podcast. That's my nightmare. I'm worried Heeny's going to do it. Heeny's going to just automate me
he'll press
out.
a button. He is teaching the machines how we will talk through the podcasts, and then one day he's going
Get
to
out of
press
my
enter,
nightmares,
and it's
YouTube
gonna generate
commenters.
us.
Who said that?
Yeah. And Kevin Melton said, "Wish there were more procedurally generated games for replayability. I really thought No Man's Sky Tech would take over." Yeah, it's that the procedurally generated thing is actually an interesting thought, given that we're talking about kind of Alyx maps, Beat Saber, generated songs. Another thing that'd be, can you imagine an Alyx map that was like kind of like a dungeon type thing where every time you load in, it spawns a different set of corridors and environments, and you go through, and it's like, kind of like a roguelite, dread halls type thing, but in Alyx. Like that's the kind of stuff that I'm like, this could really blow up and be really cool, Who knows? That's probably a big thinking, but it could be really cool.
Level editors everywhere are freaking out right now at all
I know.
It's beautiful.
They are.
Wow.
It's a difficult time.
I don't know. Ian, at some point, Heaney is just going to suck you into the headset and just leave you in here. You're the ghost.
Yeah, well, so when we joined our beta this morning, or when we joined the next version of this redone studio, all we had was a black void in our hands. Mm-hmm. And like, this is it. Heaney's done it. I'm gone. looking at everyone through the black void of the university put me in.
Your Job.
Don't do it, Heaney.
Lawnmower Ian. Is he talking to you again?
No, he's not talking to me. Again? He's just out there watching.
I imagine at the end of this show, he's going to say, "I don't know what you were listening to. I wasn't talking to you." All right, let's move on to the last piece of news here because this is fun. Where reveals new touch controllers. Ooh. Referencing improvements to tracking, finger sensing, and haptics. Now, we touched on this earlier. We're talking about the Taco Del Mar headset. Or no, there's no taco. The word taco is not there. Sorry, just Del Mar. And then the controllers are called Jedi controllers.
Yeah.
Which seems like a copyright.
Which everyone wanted to be a lightsaber. And is it now? Is it still? Was the last kind of thing we found? Is it indicating that it could be there's still some lightsaber action, or is it just it's called Jedi?
Well,
it's not
I just saw a leaked picture. Exactly like PlayStation Move controllers with a ball on top of it. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm kidding.
It's exactly what I want.
Sorry, not the time for sarcasm. I get that. Go ahead, Ian.
I wish you could, no.
I know, right?
So, Gerald is in the comments. He was one of the developers who found some of this driver code. Thank you for joining us and watching. And yeah, we dug into that code, and the Oculus Touch controllers on the Quest are a step backward from the original in terms of a couple things. And I think one of the things are the haptics. I don't think the haptics are quite as immersive as the original ones. And then some of the yeah, it's like, so there's like a next level of sort of rumble that you can provide with really good haptics in some of these things. And there was some indications or suggestions that maybe these Jedis could have that next generation, bring us back to that original CV1 rumble. And then there was the other thing about the rate at which the lights that are on the touch controllers, the infrared lights, flash, suggested that there could be a doubling to the rate that would then therefore be recognized by cameras that are running at a higher rate and could maybe track the controller's position more quickly, and then thereby
they would help
providing
them.
better tracking.
Wasn't it also too, if it goes behind your back and it comes back into view because it's going at a higher rate, you'd be able to refine the controllers quicker? I believe
Maybe,
was
exactly.
a big
There was
benefit to that. I think
the IMU, the inertial measurement unit inside of it, is supposedly has less noise, so that it could actually provide more reliable tracking data to the system.
I just had an idea or something that I would want, which is that for anyone that has a Nintendo Switch and has used it in the audience, that thing the haptics on that aren't like strong and that they're like powerful, but and I remember when they announced the Switch, they announced these haptics and everyone thought it was just them doing PR terms and it wasn't a big deal. But there's some really cool things they do with those haptics and those Joy-Cons. Stuff like if you're in Mario Odyssey, when you're walking around a room, you can really feel like you're looking for a star in the ground, and you can really feel it kind of get stronger and stronger as you move Mario. And I just think stuff like that, if you get that kind of level of customized stuff and haptics, that'd be really cool for some VR stuff, because I love it in the Switch. And that'd be really cool.
So that's the technology exactly that we expect in these controllers. That's exactly what we would hope to see. And
that's what I would love.
Gerald, again in the comments, did a demo at the last Oculus Connect where he was demonstrating sort of some of these concepts of what level of things could be done, especially if you take it to the next level with the haptics. But like, imagine a ball inside of a cup, and you're moving the ball around the cup. And you really want to feel that ball hitting each side of the cup in your hand really accurately. And if they could get much better haptics, that would really feel right.
Gerald has also pointed out, same as the haptics on the Switch are the same as the Gen 1 touch control haptics, which I wasn't aware of. So there you go, you learn something every day. But we've got some other comments. Ryan said, if the Jedi controllers are like Index ones, it'll be great having input parity with Index or close to it. You'll get more devs to work with both Index controllers and the new Oculus controllers. And Kevin Melton said, didn't someone acquire Mind Thought control tech? Thought Facebook bought something. I'd imagine that's the Jedi reference. I keep saying tech because I'm not too quick. Yeah, that's the...
Well, that was the other theory that they had for these things. And the reason that these findings, our article and this research kind of... I don't know if I want to say prove it wrong, but sort of points in a different direction. But it was Control Labs, and they make a wristband that can theoretically sense sort of the signals going into your hand, and so would provide very realistic or really fast sensing. But that could maybe be like a force power where you're pointing at things and it's really recognizing everything. I don't know. The stuff in the driver that points to that not being the case, that's what the Jedi is referring to, is that they've got the same button layout. Same buttons references are mentioned with the Jedi controller, which very much points to the idea that if you've built a Quest game for the current type of input mechanism, the next generation of Quest controllers need to have the same buttons in the same places.
What Zuckerberg said, right? He said we want you to be able to play these games for, moving forward. We don't want you to make something and then it be redundant next generation.
Yeah.
So that lines up.
That brings up another question: is are the new controllers going to be backwards compatible to the current Quest? So would you go and spend, I don't know, I'll be realistic here. $79.99 for a new set.
Are you saying
Jedi
to use them with
controllers.
the? Are you saying to use them with
Is
the
that
original
per, or
Quest?
is that I wonder if that's the per price or the pair price.
I think that's I'm hoping that's the pair price. $79.99 is a number that I would spend.
I mean,
what do you think?
Yeah, so I don't know if it's an upgrade and they're using
But-
upgraded hardware and all this is a step up from the current Quest. I don't know.
Are you saying, Carl, that you want to buy the new controllers and use them with your existing Quest?
Correct.
Or are you saying, well, I mean, is that even possible if we're talking about
I
things
don't
like
know. That's what I'm asking. It's a question
I'm
that's
guessing
posed on social media.
If we're talking about, you know, the controllers having the lights flashing at a higher rate with a Quest that can pick them up at a higher rate because it has better cameras, then obviously it wouldn't work. But
that would make that's why it would make so much sense to release these kind of early, is get the better rumble, get maybe some better finger tracking, because maybe the capacitive sensors are better and you could sense all 5 fingers. But then if you upgrade to the next Quest, maybe you could buy it without the controllers. Maybe that would be an option so that you can take either Gen 1 controllers or the new upgraded Delmar controllers to the new Quest. And it would help them shave a little price off of the Quest.
I don't know, though. When you say that, one of the things that I think has been...
Hand tracking on the next Quest would be great.
That's right. You won't even need controllers, right? Yeah.
Okay, but my only problem with this I think one of the good things about the Quest right now is that it's so simple. There's basically only 2 options, and it's storage, right? And so, like, for example, my good friend of mine in Sydney, his dad's girlfriend just bought his dad a Quest. There was no kind of they'd known about virtual reality, but she just kind of knew this was a thing that she can get, and then that's everything she needs, and then it's there, and you know they played around with it instantly, right? I feel like when you start adding things like you can buy it without the controllers, you can buy it with the controllers, all of a sudden I feel like someone who's not so clued into it, you're starting to introduce, it's a bit like game consoles when you've got, you know, PS4 Pro, PS4 this. I just feel like the kind of simplicity of it is what is really good, in that it's like basically just storage. And apart from that, people kind of can know that you only storage, they can go, okay, well, it's higher storage. They understand that instantly, right? So I don't know.
I think there's a whole team. There's a product manager at Facebook who specifically, like, their job is to make that transition to selling a hand tracking only system go way smoother than you're suggesting. Like, getting that set of 50 games that are really great with hand tracking to launch with a headset that only has hand tracking. So, like, I get all those concerns, but you know, Facebook kind of has built a roadmap out here that they want the system to be easier to use than the controllers. There's just an argument to be made that the controllers are just a little bit added complexity that you could sell to more people and get a lot of people into some simple VR stuff without the hands.
See, I live in a fantasy world where I can a la carte grab the headset, then I can choose which head strap and which controllers and which other accessories like earphones or extended back. I live in that world.
So against that for everything I just said. But it's not because I wouldn't want to do that. It's just because I think if we're talking about trying to make everything as successful as possible, you know, I think the power is in the, you know, person who doesn't know much about it but just knows they can click buy and don't have to worry about the rest of it. It's a bit like an iPhone, right? Like, a bit like the Android versus iPhone thing, is that I think the thing that scares off people about Android is it's like there's so many options. What do I do? Where an iPhone is an iPhone. You can pick it up and get it. That's why I think iPhones are still so popular, right? Like, because you just know it. The layman just knows they can get the iPhone, and that's that.
See, and that's where, for mainstream adoption, Harry, you are 100% correct. But for those of us who are prosumers, I guess, we want more options. And so there's nothing wrong with having that, you know, here's the kit, go get the kit. Don't worry about it, just get the kit. But if you want to, here's a more complicated way of doing it so you can mix match and you know. I think both are right. That's, you know, I think
how much do current touch controllers sell? Because you can buy spares if you break it or whatever. How much are they now?
I forget the price. What's the price, Eni? How much?
I think
yeah, 70, 69, $69.
Okay,
They're 70 each.
Yeah.
Don't.
So You're saying 79 for what? A pair of new ones. That's not happening. That's
Yeah, it's
never
69
happening.
each. It's
Yeah, so Kyle's dream of 80 for a pair for a pair of new upgraded ones. It's not happening.
Hey, I'm throwing out stuff. If people want to hear it and say, "Hey, let's do that," then great. You're welcome, community.
Let's make the
but no,
quest
I know.
$100 while we're at it too.
just kill the. All right, I'm gonna do my Go bashing. Right, they need to get the Go out of the lineup. It's not available. It's one of them isn't available. The small storage one is not available right now, and they've got the higher storage one at the original price. They need to get that out so they can make room to simplify the lineup for this next generation, right? They could
that's
sell
interesting,
so
though.
many
Do you
quests for the
think-
rest of this year.
Is there like hypothetically another quest here that's a cheaper option that's just waiting for the Go stock to be cleared out and it's fully? I like to think in my mind I find it it's not, but I find it amusing to think that they're just like waiting for the last person to buy the last 10 Goes. Like, man, we really want to launch Quest Lite, but there's still 10 Goes in the warehouse. Like, someone buy them out. I think that is an amusing thought, even that's not the case.
I vehemently disagree with the value that you've placed on the Go. I mean, we've had this conversation a million times, and I'll just say it again. I still think the Go has value as a media consumption device. It may become very relevant in maybe school systems and setups.
Heaney, give me an animation so I can vomit in Kyle's direction. That's what I need.
Yeah, it's okay. We're allowed to disagree. I do see your point, though, Ian. I really do. But at the same time, I mean, people are still using flip phones.
Those people are sad.
Well, okay.
Do people still use flip phones, Kyle? Really?
Absolutely.
Anyway, you are. I haven't seen one a year in civilized world for a long time. But
well,
I mean,
you got to come here to the
a
U.S.
Flip phone? A flip phone?
Yeah.
Far out, man. Really? Even my grandma has an Android phone. She emojis. Like,
well,
what's happening over there? You guys, sometimes I hear things from your country. You worry me. You're all using flip phones.
Drug dealers. That's Kyle's friends who are drug dealers. They have the flip phones.
Yeah, that's it.
Ian.
They're all using
and the Goes.
Their phones.
He didn't. I applaud you for not going for the 69 joke. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Anyway, hey, let's move on to the next piece. We're done with the news. That was beautiful. Let's go on and see what the release of the week is. Do we have a release of the week, Ian?
I will Hyperdash. That's a 5v5 shooter game. It has crossplay across PC and Quest. That just arrived on SideQuest like 2 hours or a couple hours before we started recording this, and looks very fun. It's got multiple modes for like any kind of gameplay that you want, where you've got the like Overwatch style of matches, and you've got more like capture point where you have to sit on a point for a certain amount of time. And then just the fact that it has crossplay is such a big deal, where you can play that across basically Steam VR headsets, Rift, Quest. It's in an alpha phase, and so it's free to play right now on all those headsets while it's in development. And they also said that they got Quest approval, so it will eventually come to the Quest store. So that's another big one. Echo Arena. We just broke that Echo Arena is going to open their beta on May 5th. That is an amazing game. You haven't gotten in there yet, have you, Harry?
No, I got an email actually that I could have joined it, but I completely forgot about it, and so I didn't. But I'm very excited to try it. Because May 5th, did you say?
Next week, next Tuesday.
Ah, there we go. How
it
cool.
is.
Yeah.
Gosh, that game is so much fun, and I am very sensitive simulator sickness. I have yet to get sick.
Yeah.
I did go in there for maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, and came out, and I was like a little shaky. I don't want to call it like there's so many different words or feelings you can have of simulator sickness. There's like the 10 frames per second sickness where you need to go lay down in bed for 45 minutes. No, that wasn't this. This was just, I felt a little bit like I had been moving around a lot and I needed to sit down.
This is what I don't, because we're somewhat similar in that artificial movement will, continuous kind of motion can make me sick. I'm getting better, but after a while it still does. But you're saying that you don't get any, even though this is all kind of artificial, and you're moving through these zero-G spaces because you're pushing off things and pulling things. Is that why you're not getting sick? Because I find that like fascinating.
Yeah.
I've never tried something like that. I don't know how
Well,
it would.
so this is the thing I was talking about, is where the only time I played this before was with my Rift and my original Rift, and I either had 2 cameras or 3 cameras set up for it, and I hated it so much because those sensors are always like here to you, like here's the sensor, and here's where you are, and here's the second sensor, and here's where you are, and you could put a third sensor if you have 15 feet of USB cords and put it right here. And the whole time that you're playing this game, you have to think, okay, am I getting tangled up in the cord, number one? And number two, I'm going to hit the sensor because it's that close to you. Well, with the wireless version of this game, I've got my whole Guardian for my whole living room. And I can turn 360 degrees, do 4 circles, and feel completely fine while grabbing every surface around me and pushing off of it. And it just felt way more comfortable than the Rift version because of that freedom and because of that just control of movement, that I don't have to think about the cord. I don't have to think about hitting the things near me. And I'm that in control of all of my movement. It felt really nice and fun.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Baby Shark.
Played it?
Baby Shark.
I keep talking about release of the week. Baby Shark is out.
I'm so confused about this because I keep seeing all of you guys mention Baby Shark VR, and I've like not looked into it at all. I've just been doing other stuff, and then occasionally I'll see a message being like, "Oh, we'll just push Baby Shark back. We'll do that." And I'm like, "What is this? Please explain to me what is Baby Shark VR, Ian?"
I just watched the gameplay video, so we'll have a story up on this from Jamie, and it's one of those things where, I read his take, and I think it broke him a little bit, right? So I edited his story, and he was really upset after playing Baby Shark. And it's tricky because, okay, so there's the song is in there, right? I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Kyle did it. I'm not going to do it.
I do know that
but
one.
There's some kind of like...
I was like, do I know this? I do. Yeah.
There's some kind of like water gun bubble shooting thing that you do in the game where after you're doing the song stuff, there's some kind of bubble shooting. And Jamie's just like, this is like a shooter with training wheels. And
like, there you go. There's the box cover right there. The quote from Upload VR.
When you're done with BOGO, move on to Baby Shark and go shoot some things.
But yeah, no, it's just it brings up that whole issue of like, come on, do you really want to target a VR game that young? That doesn't, like, all the headsets worn to start at 13, and Job Simulator, Vacation Simulator, those skew young. Rec Room, there's a lot of young voices when you go into Rec Room. And I heard a bunch of young voices even in Echo Arena too, where it's it's tricky. But like Baby Shark, that's like 4, that's 3, and you're gonna put them in a.
They get bored of that. It's like, okay, you can go shoot some things in Baby Shark now. Congratulations, you graduated. It's like
shooting bubbles or something, but like, yeah, I like that description of like training wheels on a.
Imagine them when they're like 20 something. They're like, they're playing like GTA 9, and they're like, it all started with Baby Shark VR. Like, that was my first bubble shooting experience, and from there I was like, I've got to go play GTA now. You know, the next in the genre.
Well,
I haven't actually played it. Jamie did it, so check that story when it's up and see his take.
I expect a Half-Life Alyx mod where you just shoot bubbles. Bloop, bloop, bloop,
yeah,
bloop, bloop,
that'll stop
Baby
the
Shark
crabs.
Baby Shark 2. Yeah.
That would be a funny mod if if all the zombies were singing the Baby Shark tune. That would just be.
Please don't give people ideas.
Yeah.
I was trying to push this is a sophisticated platform where we can have sophisticated mods for years, and you're like, nope. You're like, baby shark head crabs, make it happen. It's like, and I'm sure someone will get right on that. Don't let the people in the modding Discord know. Yeah.
Do we have any comments from our audience?
We had some people who were saying that they were happy. Kevin was saying he was stoked for Ender's Game. So he put later Echo, so obviously he's making a pun.
Ender's Game.
Ender's there. But other than that, not recently. Some other people talking about the controllers and stuff from earlier, but some people excited for Echo VR. I'm excited for Echo VR.
Supernatural came out too. That's the
That's
I
the
love
other
that
one.
show.
I
Yeah,
haven't.
Sam and Dean Winchester.
That one
I haven't tried
set
it.
the community on fire. Just $20 a month. Ah, it was just screaming
There's a lot
everywhere,
of-
rioting.
I've heard a lot about this game from. I've yet to really try it. But I've heard a lot in terms of, as you said, people going nuts about the subscription price. People going nuts about whether it's actually, like I've seen some people say it's a huge workout. I know Xena in the UK is doing a video on it at the moment. She's got some feelings about it. I think it's very interesting. I find the concept of VR workouts very. I'm not sure I would ever do it, but props to people who want to, and maybe this is that for them. I just can't see how it's the same as an actual workout. But I don't know.
The way I look at it is, I am a bespectacled individual on a normal basis. I wear glasses. And so when I work out, if my wife was here, she'd be cracking up. When I sweat, my glasses get nasty. And so now I have another layer of nastiness over top of me. I feel like there is an opportunity for, and I know there's VR covers and things like that, and those are all beautiful and wonderful to a degree, but the amount that some of us sweat,
yeah,
it needs like a straw or something out
when
the
I'm
side of my
not
cheek.
when I'm not even working out, like if I'm just playing, when I was doing those Beat Saber songs the other night, when I was doing some footage, I mean, I got super sweaty and gross, and that's the thing I hate the most. I'm like, I need to finish this now because this quest is like a juice box based, and like it just, and so I can't imagine purposely going in to do something to get everything sweaty. Even as you said, even with the covers and everything, like the VR covers are great, don't get me wrong, but they don't absorb anything because the Quest's default thing absorbs kind of sweat. The VR covers don't. It ends up just dripping down you more. It's like it's a big, heavy, hot thing on you. I don't know. I personally never seen the appeal, but Ian, what were you were going to say something?
Well, so Supernatural is aware of this. They've got some kind of an offer where they're offering a free silicon cover that I think they'll send you if you sign up. So they're aware of that, and they're trying to kind of build their market around it a little bit.
Yeah.
I've been in there. I've got a little DM group going with a couple people who are into Supernatural and are trying it out, and we're trying to drive each other into there and do it. But yeah, I went in there earlier today, and it's like a 20 to 30-minute workout. Lenses fogged up within a few minutes, and I had to pull it off my head and try to scrub it down a couple times to be able to actually see the things coming at me. It's a tricky thing where you're talking to really healthy people who go to the gym a lot on their own. They're not going to see the appeal of spending $20 a month, or even if they're ready to go running for a couple miles. But there's a lot of people that are way out of how would I say this, gym ready
shape
fitness.
They're
not they're not ready to go in public and run 5 miles on a treadmill in front of other people. And I think that's a significant. I think there's a lot of people in that category that just need something that's kind of like an easier way to get fit. And I don't know that the rates of people sticking with Supernatural are going to be any more significant than the people who, stick with their gym membership when they go and sign up. But, it's one more on-ramp to getting off your butt and actually staying active. And I definitely appreciate that aspect to it.
Is it, remind me, because I can't remember, is it Quest exclusive?
It's
on Rift or
I think it
anything?
only launched on Quest right now. I think
But it
they're
is
planning
coming,
on other
or
headsets. The thing about it is, every workout is 360. So some of the warm-up songs that you do at like the beginning or the end of your workout aren't 360, but every single song, when you get into the workout and get going, you're going to be doing the whole
so it's gonna be hard if
turnaround
you've
thing.
got wires.
Yep.
Do they have the Baby Shark song yet?
No, not Baby Shark, but they do have Macklemore, and I'm sorry for all those people who hate Macklemore because that song gets me going. I like that.
I live in Seattle. I'm not allowed to hate Macklemore.
Is he from Seattle?
It's true. True story.
Yeah.
Tried to say that once, got screamed at. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I won't come to Seattle then because
and Lady Gaga.
Strong
Got
opinions of
vintage Lady Gaga
Macklemore.
too.
Lady Gaga. Okay, so they have got
Alright.
some kind of high profile songs.
Bad Romance. That's a long
Interesting.
song to Beat Saber through. I mean, to
Bad
Supernatural
Romance. I've
through.
been
Sorry.
getting really back into that song lately. You know, I don't know why. Maybe I have to go ahead and try it because I've been listening to that a lot. I don't know why. Something about isolation and Bad Romance. I've been like chilling
It's
out
like
to that in
5
the
minutes
shower.
long. It's
So
brutal.
it is.
Just
Yeah.
kicks your butt.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
you just wait
Interesting.
until I throw Inagata Devita through the AI for Beat Saber. That be ready for that, folks. Gonna be epic. That drum solo is gonna kill everybody. All right, let's go to the hot topic. The hot topic of the
There's more to
day.
this?
There's been so many.
Yeah,
They're all hot topics today. What's the hot topic?
Magic Leap. Magic Leap.
Magic Leap.
Magic Leap's consumer play. Was it doomed to fail? Was it? Can any startup compete with the giants? You know, it just goes to show, and this is just my own personal hot take, is that you could throw a whole lot of money at something and it still not end up becoming a product.
Ian,
I mean,
take
it's
it
that.
away.
Go for it, Ian.
Yeah.
What's your hot?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm sure Ian's got a
man.
lot to say.
Yeah, it's exhausting, right? Magic Leap's whole
Yeah.
story has been exhausting, and I feel so bad.
Yeah.
We it's called what is the hot topic, where I didn't have the heart for doing a hot take on this. There were people dancing on a grave, so to speak. The moment it was
Yes.
out, like of course it was doomed to fail, and that's so on. That's not. A lot of people lost their jobs in the last 2
Yeah, a
weeks,
lot.
and it's
Yeah.
brutal.
Yeah. I know
Um,
several people
I
personally.
think
Yeah.
I was trying to think of, that's represents a significant percentage of the people who work in VR, even if it's like 1% of the people who work in VR. But I
Yeah.
think it's bigger than that percent. It's still a lot of people to lose their jobs all in one day. So that's just brutal. I sat in the audience at OC1 at the first Oculus Connect in 2014 with a Magic Leaper, and they were sitting right next to me. And I'm like, oh, what's Magic Leap? Let's grill this Magic Leaper for all this information. And if the person was very guarded, they were clearly, protected by their, agreements, and wouldn't say anything. And I could only get 2 words out of them. F pixels. I won't say the F word, but he said the F word. F pixels, right? That was all
Yeah.
that he would be willing to say. They had this vision of coming up with like a new display system that would provide you with pixel perfect augmented images that would, not have all of the drawbacks of this fixed system that we have now that focuses your eyes at a fixed distance. It would do everything right. Like that was kind of the picture. And you watched Roni dance around journalist after journalist, and then dance around investor after investor. I mean, that's kind of the magic of Magic Leap. Is year after year he would rope in a new set of investors to come in and just dance circles around them, talking, spinning this future vision of something that, whatever the investor wanted to hear, Ronnie was ready to say, we're going to do that. We're going to make this future real. And Google, Saudi Arabia, the kingdom of Saudi Arabia, investor after investor group, he's giving demos, convincing them to throw a lot of money at this idea. It gave a lot of people jobs, a lot of people the ability to explore their visions and try to do something remarkable. And honestly, you put on Magic Leap 1 and it is a cool experience. There is some cool stuff that it does. Is that a market? Is that a business? Is it consumer friendly? Is it going to sell thousands and thousands and millions of units? No.
We've got one comment which I'll butt in here.
It's exhausting.
Reckoner said, I think Magic Leap have a legitimate technology that simply isn't going to be ready to be a viable product for many, many years. Forget Magic Leap 1. That was a pivot. That is bollocks. And then Reckoner also just said, investors must have seen something, not a viable product. I'll concede that, but technology with future potential.
Yeah, no, they had. I've heard they had a group out in Seattle that was working on that future tech. Right, they had a lab that was working on this pixel perfect optical technology,
and they could bring in people, and you could put your head on a little. I'm assuming I haven't actually gotten this demo. I haven't done the NDA, and I refuse to do the NDA thing with them. But like you could put your head on a little headrest here and look through and see things dancing around that looked perfectly right. Maybe it was only one color or two colors. I don't know. But like, yeah, investors probably saw that, and just the idea that you could take this giant bench, whatever it was, and miniaturize it down into an actual headset you could wear in even 5 years or 10 years was not feasible. And they shipped something else, and it works, and it's impressive, and it's really neat. But is it a big market? No, it's not small enough for a big market yet. It's not robust enough. You can't wear it outside and walk down the street because it's not quite there yet. There's the transparency is still a problem, and you've got to do more with the spatial recognition technology than just looking around your environment. You've got to have like a world map in order to know things about what's around you, so you can actually give the person real information. And you've got to wear this fanny pack. I mean, that's not consumer friendly. I talked to Ronnie once in an interview, and he tried to do the dance around me. I've got the whole transcript on uploadvr.com. I decided it's the only way I could really capture this interview was to like just transcribe everything he said and show that I'm trying to pin him down with specific questions and not letting him escape by dodging a question. I tried to push on some of these questions. I didn't push as hard as I could because I I wanted to talk to him again, and I could have grilled him harder than I did. I tried to grill him pretty hard.
Have you?
But like, yeah. That was the only time I ever got to talk to him face to face. I'm in his. I'll send him DM questions, and he'll send me to PR. It's like you can only get so many dodgy answers from a person before you start. Like, you're not going to give me a straight answer, are you? Right? You're not going to speak to me directly about your technology. You're going to define things in your own terms and throw those terms back at me and try to say that you're doing something that you aren't necessarily doing. Like it's a spin thing that PR people do, that some CEOs do, and certain business people do, and it's a red flag in lots of cases. I would love to talk to Ronnie. I would love to interview people. If you were formerly at Magic Leap, if you're still at Magic Leap, it's an amazing story. It's an incredible story. It's also, I think, a tragedy because there's a lot of people there that had lots of really amazing ideas and were very good at their jobs. And it was, I don't know, I would love to unfold why some of these things were sent off in weird directions. Like, I don't know how else to say it.
Got some. We got a lot of comments here, actually. Yeah. So, Gerald said it's the same reason Kira is going to have issues. They've got some cool tech, but it's not ready for consumer devices. Reckoner then followed up and said, "Yes, I agree with Ian. It's not just visual tech that needs massive work, from what I've read, but the spatial awareness of the device is also going to be a huge barrier." And Ryan said, "I wonder how Facebook and Apple will approach AR, if they'll be using the same waveguide approach that others are using or doing something else." So, yeah, interesting thoughts.
The real question there is, what's their exit, right? I mean, that's kind of like a few weeks before this. Well, there's obviously an exit for ODG and Meta, and the exit was your assets were bought out of bankruptcy, right? I mean, that's the exit there, was to just, buy what remains of a dead company. And I don't know that Magic Leap is going to go that far down the route.
Did we ever get confirmed, like, numbers of how many people were laid off, or the percent of the? I know there was estimates, but we never got confirmation, right? Of how many people?
Gotten some. I've heard some differing things here. I have contacted the state of Florida to try to get the WARN notice. That's the worker training notification that companies that lay off
a lot of people have to file to see if they list the number there. I've talked to the PR person who gave me a different number. The first few reports out there said 1,000. Then it was roughly half of the employee base at Magic
That's
Leap.
what I was thinking.
And I'm just like the actual number of units sold, where we had to wait for sort of someone leaking these infos. We're not gonna get
know
those
for
direct
sure.
answers from the officials there. It's it's one of those things where
Yeah.
like they talk to whatever audience is in front of them and tell them what they want to hear. And so they're going to tell an investor this many people got laid off. They're going to tell a journalist this many people got laid off. They're going to tell their employees this many people got laid off. Finding the reality of Magic Leap is going to be the project of a book by someone, and I look forward to reading that book. And if former Magic Leapers want to talk to me, Ian at uploadvr.com, I would love to hear from you. I will plan. I've been talking to people as much as I can, and I hope some of my sincerity has come across here, that like I empathize with the situation that everyone has gone through there. The people, the work and life that they've poured into that work that they did there. But I've also heard from the people who have left Magic Leap as far as 5 years ago because they didn't see it going in a good direction. And it's not, I don't know, it's kind of, you can only hear from so many people that have departed a company, and trying to speak around their NDA agreements so much before you really want to know, like, come on, why was this so rough?
I'll tell you what, I'm pretty sure that there are people who have been, I know factors, several folks who have been following this from outside the company for quite a while. They've been writing articles, they've been maybe even writing a book, who knows? So there might be some information like that down the road. But I think that our hearts and thoughts and feelings go out to all the folks who did lose their jobs.
Yeah,
there was a lot of really great people working there. Fantastic. Harry, why don't you see if there's any final thoughts from our audience here before we part ways with them?
A quick correction. Someone pointed out Gerald autocorrect kicked in. He meant Kura instead of Kira, with the U instead of an I. We've got James said was looking for the live show 6 hours ago. Is this new time the plan from now on? I don't believe so. I think we just had some some
I
issues
don't know.
because
We don't know yet.
We don't know.
We'll let you know.
Stay tuned
we're
on that
working
one.
on that beta.
And we've just got some immersives talking a bit about the Kura, and says he or she wonders if Faja has anything mobile based cooking in their labs. So yeah. And Gerald said, "I like this time." So there's Gerald's opinion on the new time. But there you go.
When you have
apart from that, that's about it. No, that's about it. That's all I was gonna say.
When you have a global team, it's very difficult to find the perfect time for everyone. We've got two folks who are asleep, one that probably should be asleep, a couple other people. It's a very interesting. We live in interesting times.
We've got one from every. I mean, Europe, Australia, US is kind of the three poles of impossible to line up time zones because they're all the exact opposites usually. So, but
right.
We'll try. We'll see what works best.
Yeah, as some of us are waking up, others are going to sleep, and vice versa. So we'll figure out a time. And if you have suggestions for the perfect time, feel free, because you're watching now, to put them in the comments so that way we can take your input as well, because we do this show for you. So I want to remind everybody that uploadvr.com is available for you at any time, any date, to go and check out and get all sorts of fun new what is happening, trending, our opinions on stuff in the VR industry. So I do want to recommend that you use your free time to spend. I would just recommend just opening up uploadvr.com and just having it always on your screen. That's what I do. So I think everybody else should do that as well. When you're bored with that, go to our YouTube page and check out all of the wonderful content that we have there. We've got a great team of people putting together some fantastic and high quality production level videos. So check those out, please. And also leave comments, like, subscribe, and all that other stuff that YouTubers say at the end of their shows. Ian, any final thoughts here?
Oh, there's more thoughts on Magic Leap, but I'll have to
You know what?
bottle
You
those
should
up and
write it
go
all
to sleep on
down.
them.
You
Yeah.
should write all that down. We can
On a
maybe publish
website
it.
called uploadvr.com.
I
Yeah.
think
There you
so.
go.
Yeah, because I know
Yeah.
I would
What an
like to know
idea.
more about your thoughts and feelings on it. Harry, any final thoughts from you, sir?
No, nothing in particular. Thanks to all the people in the comments. Thanks for tuning in, guys. That's about it. No other comments besides that.
All right,
good.
fantastic. Well, like I have been signing off on every conversation that I've been having on the phone or virtually, everyone be smart, be safe. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the future. You know, Tatiana will be mad if I don't dab.
Oh, my head hurts.